Hello, everyone. Good morning. It's time for Sunday school. Are you excited about the opportunity of being able to get up and spend some time with the Lord? Now, I encourage you to do it every day. Spend time with the Lord. I really do. We find that as life comes upon us, at the time of this recording, the day before this recording, I turned 65. Now the family took me out to eat, and yes, I indulged in way too much ice cream. One, it was a little milestone for me to get there, and two, there were some benefits to being 65 that there are not at 64 in 9 months, aren't they? But as we were eating, I noticed a couple that appeared to be in their late 30s or early 40s, and with them was an individual, a young teenager, could have been an older teenager, and they were handicapped, mentally challenged, and I almost got very teary-eyed because they were taking food from off the table and giving it to this young man, feeding him, wiping his face when it got out of his mouth. They were dedicated to serving that young man. Now, the young man may not even have realized what mom and dad were doing. That was what he suspected they'd do. That's what he thought they should do. They probably, no doubt, have to bathe him, to clean him. He was in a wheelchair, confined to a certain area. And this last week, I had the same emotional things with me. My mom was in a situation that she could not feed herself, and I fed her. It was not a major problem. It wasn't oh my gracious, I got to feed my mom, because I reflected on the days that she took care of me, and the days that she comforted me, and the days that she looked after me, and she still prays for me today. Now, by the grace of God, she's getting stronger every day. And I think it was yesterday or the day before, she went down to the hall, and there was a piano, and she began to bang out notes, and then slowly and surely those notes became chords, and just a little bit she was playing praises unto the Lord, as she had done for 80 plus years. They became innate in her, born in her. Steve, what are you talking about? How many times has God fed us and wiped our mouth? How many times has He put a cloth around us and washed us in His love and kindness? How many times has He done things for us that we're really not aware that He's doing? We're not able to conceive His goodness, His mercies. We don't fathom it because it's not in our English vocabulary to comprehend God. I doubt if it's in any world's vocabulary to comprehend the greatness of God. He's so far above it, and yet He chooses to love His children, of which you and I are one if we so desire. See, it's our desire that we're full of joy and happiness, and it's His desire that we are too. But there was a passage of Scripture, I think it's strange. It says to count it all joy when you're going through the diverse temptations. And what are you talking about? Why should I count it joy? It's the fact that you were able to overcome those situations. Now, if you've never been in a situation where you were tested, and you succeeded in that test, whether it's as a little elementary school level, college level, or something in regular life, you remember the happiness and joy? I made it. I made it. I personally think that even though we feel in our hearts that we made heaven, when we get to heaven, I believe it's a real thing. Personally, I believe it's a real thing. But we are going to be ecstatic. Why? We made it. We made it. Now, there will be those that make it by the skin of their teeth, probably. And those will be some that they were just saints. And I remember my grandfather, he made a comment to me. He said, son, there's going to be 3 things about heaven. I said, yes, Papa. He said, one, there's going to be people that didn't make it that you would have swore up and down would have made it. Okay. So there's going to be people that didn't make it that you would have swore up and down would have made it. Okay. So, and the most important thing is you're going to be so tickled that you made it, you're not even going to forget one. You're going to forget 1 and 2. Why? Because the joy of making this test. So I encourage you for this New Year resolution that you look upon this life as what can I do for God and not myself. John F. Kennedy said, what can you do? Ask not what your country can do for you, but what you could do for your country. Can I borrow that and flip it just a little bit? Ask not what God can do for you, but what you can do for God. And you will find joy and happiness in areas and ways in your life you can't describe. Remember, being a servant is what Christ said is the greatest of all things. He said, if you want to be the greatest, you be a servant. Just as Christ was a servant unto us, so shall we be to those that are in need of him. Hey, it's time for Sunday school today. I'm glad to know that you and I have the opportunity to continue to do something for the Lord. Steve, you sure do promote evangelism. I promote Jesus Christ. And I hope you do somehow in yourself. Until next time, may God bless you and your family. And Lord willing, we'll catch you next week. Bye-bye now.